today is lemon day. Yay! We're finally gonna be working on every bit for the lemon. I'm actually doing this intro retroactively because I realized I lost the footage of that. So yeah, it is what it is, and you know, we make do with what we have here. Anyways, so I started off with making the skirts to lemon. Basically, most of them are all the same, except for maybe the top two skirts. They're a little different. Let me tell you, this project really put me through the ringer because I had to get it ready for ZenkaiCon. And I kind of finished it the day before I was supposed to leave. So there's some footage that is missing because I was just in it. So without further ado, let's go in to the skirts. So the first things that we have to get done here is getting all these skirts done. And the first skirt is the first underlayer skirt, which is just this lightweight fabric that I found. And yes, it is white. It will get a treatment of yellow dye after the fact and a ruffle. The one problem with this is that there are so many panels to this skirt, and I'm going to have to do this at least 4 more times. Just trying to fit it all onto this one piece of fabric was a bit of a difficulty because this piece was from the stash, and when we stash bust anything, it's a great time, but it can also be a difficult time because I don't have any more of this fabric if I mess up. But thank goodness I did not mess up and I mathed everything out correctly. Go math, hooray. Y'all know me, I can't do math very well. So we celebrate the little things, and the biggest celebration here is my capability to do simple math. This is why I have an English degree and not a math degree. With everything cut out, it's time to go sew up the side pieces. Alright, so far I have everything cut out for the underlayer. This is the first layer out of 3. And I'm just gonna let it hang for the night because it is somewhat cut on the bias. And this is a lightly woven fabric, and I just want to make sure everything is, even though it's lightly woven, I just want to make sure everything gets taken care of via the bias cuts. So I got part of it sewn together. I'm saving the back for last, and I will continue on this tomorrow. And then maybe get the lace on the bottom and also start creating the actual lace for the top layer skirt. So yeah, so far so good. So I just spent the last couple hours making all this ruffle, and I'm done. I'm tired. I will attach this tomorrow if I have time. I gotta go finish a lot of work for my school. And once this is attached, I can finally finish up the skirt itself. Putting the placket in, and just putting the ruffle on. No waistband yet, because I might attach it to the second layer skirt, so the third layer skirt that goes on top of everything else is its own separate skirt. So, and then before even that, I have to dye this yellow because it's yellow. Of course it's yellow. So I'm gonna go work on stuff for my class, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Update. I have the skirt all sewn together, sealed the edges, and I'm just doing the waistband. I pleated it, and then all I have to do is the ruffles on the bottom, seal those edges, and then take it up and dye it yellow, because it's yellow, not white. And then the bottom layer skirt will be done. And then I can move on to the second layer, which is the same process, really, but just has some different things that get added to it. I hated the ruffle, so I took it out, redid it, and redyed it, and there's a new one on it now. As I was making the lace, I decided to work on the other skirts, which I'm just taking off a bit of the hem to shorten them a little bit so that it has a tiered look to it. The amount of time it took to hem these skirts was immense. So this is where things kind of went south My embroidery machine broke, and therefore I had to go get it serviced, and that took a while. So this was the point where I was starting to freak out because I haven't even started the bodice yet. Retroactive Mads is going to talk a little bit about that. So it was at this point that I had to switch over to the top because I have not worked on the top whatsoever. I might have done a small bit of it, but then I realized it did not fit me well, and I wanted to just redo it. So I ordered more yellow satin, and that came in. And so I went to work on making the top. Now the top was very interesting because I've made it before. And again, I should have realized this when I was using the pattern, that it doesn't fit my torso well at all. But with the original dress, it was the Constant Hatchway dress, I added that belt, which added the extra length I needed to cover the skirt and the rest of my torso. So all I had to do is really extend the pattern pieces for the torso, and that it worked out pretty well. Anyway, so on to the shirt. So basically I just cut out all the pieces and I'm just putting darts in the front, and there's a few darts in the back to give it some shaping, and then I'm taking the two front pieces and just putting them together. Once everything was together, it was time to work on the side pieces. Same principle, just had to cut them out, put them together, and actually hold off putting the front pieces on because I have to work on the yokes in order for the gathered front to fit perfectly. Also, to hide the seams that the gathers would make, folding the yoke on top of the gathered seams. So there was a second piece of fabric that I cut out, which is like maybe 3 times the length of the pieces in order to gather up in certain sections, so it gives a certain shape that most Edwardian dresses have. So basically I just had to do it on the 2 back parts, and then I had to do it on the front part, and then use the yoke itself to hide the seams. This process did take a minute because I'm very particular about my gathers. I kind of do the lazy man gather, but still it's something that I want to make sure is in the right spot. And once all the gathering was done and sewed down, I just cut away any excess that was there so that there was no bulk when I put on the bias tape for the closure of the hem. After putting on the yoke, I then have to work on the back closure, which did kind of change in the end. Normally, I tend to do maybe hook and bars. Worst case scenario, a zipper. In this case, I actually had to close up the entire thing and leave an opening at the top of the neckline because of just how I put everything together in the last minute. And that's something I want to do when I look at this project again, just to put in maybe a small zipper at the neckline going down into the Bertha, which I will talk about in a moment. But it's just like, it's really hard to get into without an opening. Then it was time to work on the sleeves, which I actually took this sleeve from a different pattern, and I'm just going to bash it together with this pattern. So I have my sleeve poof, my linings, and my cuff that goes at the bottom, and the piece of fabric that attaches to the poof. After attaching the bottom part of the sleeve together, I have to work on the cuff real quick, which is just a simple parallelogram that is sewn in between the lining and the fashion fabric so that it can be flipped right side out to have a nice clean seam. And then I kind of reached a flow state where I just attach it straight to the bodice. So it's just attached now. So basically I just had to close up the cuffs to make sure that they look really nice, and then I hand stitched the lining into the sleeve poof. This is one of the better bodices that fit me really well. It's super comfortable and I'm super happy with how it came out, even though it is really yellow. But then it gets mellowed out by the Bertha, which is a more lighter yellow with different laces and different colors of yellow. Colors? Why did I say colors? I meant shades. Shades of yellow. So it's been a minute since I've done a little update section for Lemon, and I would like to say that the majority of the skirts are almost completed. Actually, I had to stop working on this third skirt because my embroidery machine is out of commission for a little while and I haven't finished the lace. So there's that. But I have started working on the fourth layer So I have started working on the 4th layer, which is the little smock thing in the front, and then her little back scallop section. So thinking I'm going to lift this up just a little bit with like a little ruching here like that, so it gives that nice straight effect. So I'm going to continue gathering up the sides of this so it gives it some nice drapeage, as well as doing some other things. I do commissions now, so I've been working on commissions as well. So that's why Lemon's kind of taking a back seat. Because during that entire time making lace, and then the machine needed to get fixed, and it's a domino effect. But if I have the bases done, I can put the lace on after, and then we're all golden. I don't know if I'm going to dye this just a little bit more yellow. I think I will, just to give it a little bit more cohesion with this bright yellow and this light yellow that is down here. Maybe try to get it to be this yellow of the ruffle, because it's a little too beige. So I'm going to, oh, and there's another skirt that goes on top of this too. There's so many skirts to this project. But yeah, that's where we're at, and I think we're in good shape, and I will have this ready for ZenkaiCon at the end of March.
And let me tell you, I have reached a ultimate flow state with this project. It was all brought on by my incessant need to just get it done. I was actually in crunch mode, and I just continued working on this so much. So this is what is called the Bertha, which it goes around the neckline of the dress. Basically, it is just a circle skirt that is cut out, very short, very small, nothing too fancy. Then I just trimmed it away so it fits nicely into the neckline of the collar. And then I had to mark where the pieces of lace went, where the gather piece of Dupioni went on top of the Bertha. I also made a fake panel, kind of like an opening to it, and then just had to put it all together with the lemon laces. With all that done, I actually had to work on the high-low circle skirt, that last circle skirt that goes on top of all the other skirts, which was also very simple to make, just a circle skirt that was low in the back, high in the front. And this also got the same treatment with the extra lace and then just some lemons that went on top of that, and then it got a nice yellow dye bath. Here's me just making sure that the Bertha works well around the neckline so that it can get over onto my head. I was able to take the extra lemon laces and just cut off the bottoms to put onto the Bertha and the last skirt. When it came to the collar, this was the most difficult thing for me to draft out because of just the way it was shaped and what I needed it to do. It was kind of like a Peter Pan collar, but also not a Peter Pan collar because it had to stick up a little bit and fold over itself. I don't know what I created here. It's something. You know, sometimes you just go with shapes and see what works. I don't know the name of the collar. I am just like, at that point I was too tired to even try to look up a name. If you guys know what the name of it is, I would greatly appreciate it if you write it in the comments. I will definitely look at those. And this is where I started to lose my mind a little bit, because at this point it would have been about 1 week out until convention, and I didn't even start the hat at this point because I just wanted to make sure that all of the dress pieces were done, and oh my goodness, I was starting to cry a little bit. It's fine, everything got done. Everything got a nice yellow dye bath, including the Bertha, the skirts, all of it. Once the Bertha was ready, I attached it to the bodice, and then I put the collar on. And actually something that you won't see is that on the inside, where the raw seams are, I actually put a piece of bias tape over it to protect it while I was wearing it around my neck. And here is an example of what it looked like before the collar. I actually sewed up the back, like I said before, because it just wasn't going to work with how I originally planned it. And this is where my mistake came in later when I actually got to con, because I accidentally sewed up the entire collar and then I couldn't get my head through the hole. So all that was left to do was put on the binding on the bottom.
Okay, so I kind of reached a flow state and like finishing up lemon completely. So I actually have just everything I just need to put together, plus a couple more green bits, plus some hand sewing, and then she's done. So this is the fifth skirt. Sorry, I was doing some math in my head. So what's gonna happen is this is all dyed. Everything's dyed. I'm done with dye for right now. But anyway, so everything on lemon is dyed. I said dyed a lot. So right now what I'm going to do is I just made up a waistband of green satin that I had left up, that I had for another project that I never did. And you know what? This is why I hoard stuff. So just in case, you know, you need to do stuff. I am terrible at filming this because I'm actually in crunch mode right now. And I don't like it at all. I don't like putting myself in this situation. However, with my machine being out of commission for like 2 weeks and all the lace that I had to make, I mean, to be expected. And the fact that I decided to remake Sally doesn't help either, but she's almost done. So we're getting there. I'm gonna attach this to this, and then I'm going to work on the bow that goes on the back. It's just like a fake bow, it's not a real one. And then I'm gonna cut out a couple more strips of this green to make some leaves that she has on her. I still have to do the lemon medallions. I still have to do her hat. And I really just need to put all the skirts together and just a little bit of hand sewing on the bodice, and then she's complete. I'm gonna go sew up this, and then once I do that, I'll be back once all the skirts are together. Now, the hat was a very challenging situation because I have never made a hat before. And so I was thinking of ways to do it. I had a pattern, I used the pattern. I thought the top was too tall, but turns out it was perfect height for what I needed to do with it. It was also the first time that I was using buckram. Buckram is a interfacing or stabilizer, which is much stiffer than your normal interfacing, and it worked pretty well. I think I might have did some things wrong, but you know, you live and you learn. And it was a challenge putting everything on the hat so it didn't weigh as much, because I'm gonna, you know, the crafter's best friend is hot glue, so everything on the hat was just hot glued together very fast. It's not the best, it's not the worst, it's like right in the middle. Other than that, here is the final reveal. Let me be 100% clear. I love this costume. I only got 2 critiques on it. Well, I only got 2 critiques when I was being judged, and I was asking questions on what I could have done better. The only thing that I should have done was I had left a raw edge. It was the first underlayer skirt, and that was my own fault. I wasn't thinking. I was also crunching. I forgot about it, and my sibling has the surgery. Just a missing undergarment piece. I was missing a bustle in the back, a little butt pad to make it poof out more so we can see all the details, because it kind of swallows up on itself. But everything else about it is just like, it's fantastic. I love it. It's beautiful. It's perfect. I might even wear it in the future to another convention with the added fixes to it. The lace, gorgeous. The dye jobs, gorgeous. I love how the lace took on different yellows. I love how the hat turned out. The hat is a favorite piece of mine, even though it was thrown together real fast. My wig, I absolutely hated my wig. It was not a wig that was meant to be up in an updo. I should have just gotten an updo wig and just styled it a little bit better. And that is on me. But overall, it's a fantastic costume and I love it so, so much. Also, while I was at ZenkaiCon, even though I didn't win an award in the craftsmanship competition, I won an award in the masquerade competition.
I was Sally Slater and I did a performance, and it wasn't a major award, it was actually the Spirit Award. And I absolutely adore this award. It's gorgeous. I love the little knitted octopus that's on it. And I would like to thank everybody at the cosplay department at ZenkaiCon so much, and even the judges. I should also say the judges too, because they're the ones who gave me this wonderful award. And the Spirit Award is basically embodying the spirit of cosplay and why we do this in the first place. And that costume, Sally Slater, I have a huge love for the Haunted Mansion. We should all know this by now. But that costume means a whole lot to me. I wear my grandmother's church gloves with it. I've cosplayed Sally Slater so much to the point where I'm actually gonna redo it. I updated her costume, but I'm just like, I'm gonna redo the whole thing eventually. That is what happened at ZenkaiCon. If you saw me, hi. So yeah, I'm just in love with everything that I've done. So thank you for watching. If you are new here, thank you for sticking around on this crazy adventure I call cosplay. And if you have been here, thank you for also sticking around with all my shenanigans. I try to post at least once a month, even though these last couple months have been a little hectic and crazy with my student teaching. I thank you all for sticking around. But I try to post at least once a month, and I have some fun things planned in the future. A lot of shenanigans, a lot of fun. We have fun here. Anyways, thank you, gal, for watching and staying to the end of the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.